Welcome everyone to the Onward VR Master League. I am your host Monorchid, and I'm joined today by my co-caster JamesBowk.
Right, how's it going?
It's going well, and it's another great day for another great matchup. This time Ronin versus Fury. Should be pretty fun to see these two teams duke it out. Ronin is fairly new, having been kind of reforged from the Japanese team. And I'm really excited to see what these two teams bring against each other. We all know Fury, they've been around for quite a while now, and this should be a pretty awesome matchup. I think that we're going to see a lot of explosive and awesome action. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to it. Not sure how to call it. If haven't seen too much of play from either of these teams this season, but as you say, there could be some explosive moves from Fury. From Ronin, I'm expecting more of a controlled, timed attack, and probably they'll reflect on their defense as well. But who knows? They may be mixing it up as well.
Very well could be. From what I remember seeing of Ronin, they've had both that kind of aggression that you need, but also that measured, more conservative style when it suits them. So let's go ahead and jump into the bans. What do we got today?
So bans from Ronin, they have banned USS Quest, and Fury they've banned Downfall. In terms of what that means and what we can read into that, Ronin banning USS Quest, I don't know what their personal feelings are on it. They haven't really picked it that I can see. Fury do like their custom maps though. They have picked a lot of custom maps throughout the season, including USS Quest quite a few times. So I imagine it's a ban based upon that. The Downfall ban, Ronin really prefer Snowpeak and Quarantine, but which shows that they do like the longer range maps. So maybe it's a combination ban of Fury not wanting to play a long range map and Ronin potentially being strong on it.
Yep. Very well could be, but you know, when you know that your team really isn't into that more long range play, playing on a more mixed map like Snowpeak can be very much preferable to a map like Downfall, where if you don't have the strategies for it, you haven't practiced it, it can be a downhill run real fast. It's a very polarizing map, that's for sure.
Definitely, and as you say, Snowpeak is very much a mixed map. You do get some very short range objectives, we talked about this before, and some longer range objectives. And yeah, middle range ones as well. It's got a great mix. I like casting it. You like casting it. We both like casting it.
Yeah, that's I think one of the, the special sauce behind Snowpeak. I don't think any other map really mixes in all the different play styles as well as Snowpeak does, and that's what makes it fun and interesting to watch as spectators every single time. Different ways to approach things, different kind of objectives. You got the fast, you got the slow, and every team has an opportunity to put their own mark on the map. So that's what we like to see. If it's not been obvious already, we will be jumping into Snowpeak for the first map.
And in terms of talking about the teams themselves, how they do on Snowpeak specifically, both teams are actually undefeated on Snowpeak. However, Ronin have played it 4 times and Fury have only played it once this season.
It's hard to really have a measure of how good teams are on when there's a small sample size, and especially against another team that's also has a small sample size. You never really know, but I'm excited to really solve this once and for all in this matchup. See how the map goes, see what comes next. I've really seen, kind of those really polarizing matches on this map, but at the same time, I think I've seen more of the really fun and back and forth kind of fights between the teams on this one as well. So hopefully we'll get a bit of that. I really have a lot of confidence in both of these teams being able to perform on this map. I think that Ronin picking it though is probably a good pick for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were doing some practice and thinking on what Fury would be doing, and just planning for that aggression, try to fight it off. So we'll see which tactics work best.
And this is definitely a map where those mix-up plays can catch teams unaware. You know, a good flank can do a lot of damage, especially on certain objectives, and particularly this first objective, which we may give a sneak peek of shortly. But it's an objective which, you know, a defensive flank can go quite well, but equally if that flank goes poorly, you can get capped on before you can get back to it. So high risk, potentially high reward type on defense. What do you like to see on this defense, Mono?
I think there's two schools of thought to it. I think that there's the very tight conservative defense, and that's what we generally see most often, and I think from most teams. But then you have the kind of more flanky defense. They're going to head out. They might head into the kind of horseshoe areas of the tunnels, maybe try and get a pick, fall back, or even try for a really, really kind of aggressive flank and just go in and behind, maybe go north, try and come in from behind them, or, you know, trying to go south and go through the parking garage kind of area. But either way, you're almost bound to run into more players. This is kind of one of those objectives where you really do need to attack it from all angles, apply that pressure, as the defense is so concentrated and can cover you know, every angle fairly effectively without leaving any major gaps or players that are exposed. So I've really seen basically those two styles, and then a little variation on the aggressive flanks.
Indeed. Personally, I quite like a heavy one side defense close to objective, and then the other side just pushing out a little bit to give that early warning, so that you're not getting hit from both sides at the same time, because that's where you really see, in my opinion, you see some of the best attacks occur on this objective. Either that hit from both sides at the same time, or the, you know, 5-man through generally the south can also, or the west can also be very effective. But if you can, in your defensive style, reduce the chance of getting that, you know, splitting your attention north and south, that can really help defend against the attack.
It's kind of interesting what you're describing, both for attack and offense, is kind of a variation of kind of cut the opposing team in half. You know, try and make so your team is only facing a small subset of their players, overwhelm them. That way you can end up taking more of these 1v1s, 2v2s, that kind of thing, instead of the whole team kind of going against the entire rest of the team all at the same time, and everyone just dying in this chaos. But, you know, using a little bit of tactics, a little bit of thinking, in order to make a daunting objective just a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, if you do lose one direction of your defense, you want it so that you've got time to adjust to that loss. If you lose one and you don't have time to adjust to that loss, you often get those cascading kills where you've lost one, your next line of defense hasn't adjusted, so they get killed from a direction they're not ready for. So without really having a chance to actually put up a good challenge, you want all of your defensive challenges to be as equal or as lopsided towards the defense as possible. So that's about being prepared for it in a lot of cases.
Very well could be. I think this objective is one that Fury is going to like to see. Pretty typical to say, but I mean, this one and the one in the supply building, I think, would really fit. Well, actually,
Yeah.
no, I take that back.
Middle south as well, I think, would be quite good for them. I think they'd get that encirclement type.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say I think the tunnels and the shack objective are what Fury are going to want to see. So we're going to have to see what they do, but we're going to jump into a quick intermission here. Teams are still rolling into the lobby. So once we get those teams in, ready to go, We'll start this up. We'll be right in the action, so do stick around. We'll see you guys shortly.
VRware. Our passion is for the
Welcome back, everybody. We are about to get started. Round 1, Ronin versus Fury. Ronin on the attack as they chose the map. We're going to see what they do here. They got kind of like the center spawn. Let's jump in and see what they're thinking right now.
Looks like Ronin are doing a 5-man push north, which I've not really seen done before. They are now splitting up a little bit. Bald should be meeting up with Player 2. Player 2 coming out on top initially, but resulting in a trade.
It's gonna not be so good for Bald Headed here, as Pawn will be able to come around the corner and get that easy repick there. Kugaro already in behind the lines, grabbing a pickup onto GT just before GT can respond. Fury down to 3 right off the kind of beginning salvo of this round. They're gonna have to do a lot to come back here, but I think there's an opportunity. They're only down 1. Compared to Ronin's 4, and with a good ambush from maybe like Solar Bob, we could see a comeback here on the scoreboard.
Ooh, it looks like Solar Bob might be able to get spotted from that northern attack. He's just a little bit too far back. His foot might get spotted here by Black. They're not running night vision, so it might be a bit harder to see there.
Ooh, Nep's laser just going right over Solar Bob, not recognizing the threat.
Kogero is almost on objective in the south. He is smoking it. AO will be engaging.
Solar Bob does go down to Nep.
Evo coming back from behind as well. If he doesn't make it back in time, this could be a cap.
Evo coming in on the backside here will be able to take out Pawn, but not before AO does get taken out by Pawn. Kugaro running for the objective, but Evolution just stopping this cold. Last member up, the 2 members coming in from the north here. He's going to have to do his best to try and stop them. He's running through the smoke here, trying to get those shots. 1 shot down. Black is down. Frag coming in. He's got to keep moving forward, otherwise he will get taken out by that utility.
There. Was it a frag?
Okay, fair enough. Evolution able to recover though.
Nip is not ready for this. He is thrown long. He's going to run straight past him. Evo with the... Wow. Wow.
Feeling pretty good if you're Evo right now, I think.
Evo was off objective. The timing on him coming back to objective was perfect. He first picked up... He first picked up Pawn, then Kogero, and then he got Black and Nep as well. Great last man defense, 4v1, wiping them all out.
The Angel that Fury needed on that objective, it was almost a cap. There's several situations with players running onto objective, and Evolution just barely stopping them as they came in, just one by one. A little disjointed. I think the smokes actually might have worked against Ronin a little bit on this one, as all the players were not able to support one another. Everyone was just forced to go in single like file against Evolution, and he was able to stop that cold and just using the right amount of aggression even against an attacker worked out really well for him. I think through the Nep through a loop there. He definitely did not expect Evolution to be rushing down the corridor right at him as the last man up.
No, indeed. And Evo before the game was saying how worried he was about playing on Quest 2 native for the first time. Well, that 4 kill in a row right there will be certainly taking a bit of the pressure off.
Always feels good to get that wipe early on in a round, that's for sure.
So the spawn-wise, they've got a slightly further out spawn Fury. Fury might have wanted something a little bit closer for their game style, but we'll see what they do with it. They've got that southwestern-ish spawn compared to the other spawns.
We'll see what they do with it here. You can already see Ronin here just kind of expecting kind of a rush from here, and they're coming in trying to get into positions to kind of counter this assault. And Black's gonna have to do a lot of work here as the entire Fury gang is coming up the stairs here. Bald-headed immediately going down. Black getting on the aggression here, gets another pickup in Evolution. AO trying to get that refrag, and he does. Gets it down. GT will GT will confirm that, but not before the damage is already done. That attack will have to be careful, as the entire defending team will be aware of such an approach now.
The rest of the defensive setup is more of a objective-based defense.
AO
Nep
in
has
trouble
pushed out a
here.
little bit north.
Ooh,
Ooh, Kogero, nice shot. Is he going to be ready for Solar Bob with the trade?
apparently not. Getting fragged though. Solar Bob and Cougar are staring at each other from across the lane.
GT
Not
and
much
Pawn
to do,
potentially facing off in the south here. GT goes straight past instead. Kogero getting revived. Ooh, Pawn taken from the side. Good teamwork there.
That was a tough start.
The damage was done at the start, wasn't it? And they didn't really recover from that. Losing two straight up, including their top fragger so far, certainly hurt.
That's for sure. Yeah, when you have those aggressive pushes in mind, especially if like a 4 or 5 man push, getting that blunted by a well-placed defender can make it really hard to keep that momentum that you need. You're really focusing on using that aggression to overwhelm the defenders, and if they have that time to stunt your advance, maybe get a few kills on you, and then also the rest of the defense will have an opportunity to reposition and plan for any assault coming in from the rest of that attack. It's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one to deal with.
If I feel like Fury sort of ran at the sort of pace where you'd go if you got the spawn in the garage. Like they didn't clear that corner because they thought they could get past that corner before the defense could or something. Bald-headed just running straight, turning right without even looking left and getting shot from behind. Maybe it's just not quite knowing the spawn distances. Maybe a little bit of lack of time on this map.
It's definitely unfortunate. I personally really love that kind of closer spawn, but it is what it is, and we'll be moving on to the next objective. 2 rounds have been played so far, 1-1 between Ronin and Fury, and we're going to be going to another polarizing objective, and that's the Shack objective. I think this is one where a lot of teams will struggle with to defend this one. There's not the best placement of places to go, and you're often very, very exposed on one of your flanks, no matter where you defend from. So we're gonna have to see what Fury does here. A flanked or a pushed out defense can often be very, very good here. Really stunt the attackers and give your team some breathing room.
Right, jumping into the action here. On attack, Ronin do have what might be one of the preferred spawns down in the southwest. It's one which is harder to be ready for on defense, so we'll see if Fury do try and push out. They may get caught from the side a little bit here.
Definitely see some pushing out here. The whole team basically just going out in a fan. GT and Solar Bob rolling together as kind of a
Solar
unit
Bob
here.
looks like he spotted them though. He has spotted them. He's called it out to GT and he's put some utility out.
We'll see if GT gets focused on the call out from Solar Bob, or will he be watching for this kind of approach coming in from the side of Nep and Pawn. GT not quite looking in time. Black getting the takedown on Solar, and GT forced to look back, fearing for that kind of approach from the rest of the enemy team here. Now a little bit exposed on both sides here.
It was interesting. Based on GT's or Solar Bob's early call out, I thought we might have seen a bit more initial movement. We are now seeing some movement from Evo, who might be encountering Pawn up near the... He is. Ooh,
Pawn
misses
comes
his shots,
out ahead.
unfortunately.
Just
Black
missed that
taking
one.
out GT in the southwest as well.
Black doing very well for himself this round. Taking out 2 players will be very, very good for them. Only the last 2 defenders near objective. AO looking in, trying to catch Kugaro, but just looking away at the wrong time. Bald-headed getting Black, ending his reign of terror. But he has a lot to chew here. The whole enemy team will be coming in. Smoke's already coming in on objective, and Bald doing his best here, getting another pickup, continuing to roam around the objective here. This is a tough one. He probably thinks he's being fired at, but I'm pretty sure that's just pre-fire. They don't have...
Black was only downed as well. He can potentially have a bit more terror to impart.
That's the unfortunate thing. When you're the last man up, you don't really have time to get those confirms a lot of the time. And just like that, Bald-Headed will go down to a sharp shot from Nep through the window there.
Great encirclement. No one coming from behind to take all four out this time. A little bit too much to ask, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you're going for Ronin, obviously. Yeah, I feel like could have gone either way a little bit more on the start. That call out from Solar Bob would have been good to see a bit more rotation straight away from the defense to really lock them into the southwest of that map. But yeah, as soon as Solar Bob got picked, it resulted in GT having to watch two sides. GT then got picked in the south. At the same time, Evo in the north going down. I mean, it's just too much to ask. 2 on objective with an encirclement of 5, especially on that objective. If you manage to pull that off, that's a pretty good effort.
Yeah, I think kind of a critical moment there was they spotted them out, Black and Solar Bob facing off, and GT kind of torn on should he support Solar Bob or should he continue watching his angle towards the lake. And he kind of did a mix of both, and unfortunately missed that rotation of the Nep and one other Ronin player. Getting that pick, or maybe 2 picks, I think would have been a pivotal change in that attack, giving them a little bit more momentum to try and fight back that attack.
So often it comes down to the first encounter. You look back, yes, other events could have transpired if that first encounter did go the other way, but you can see how things do cascade from that first encounter. Rotations resulting in more picks. Fury getting what might be the opposite spawn here on their attack, jumping back into it. They are up in the northeast, and let's see how they approach it, whether they go through the tunnels or whether they try and get some more direct attack down onto the objective straight away.
Pretty interesting. I heard some talk from Fury. They're planning to take this one a little bit more slow, use the full time allotted to them, which is 6 minutes. They have 6 minutes to put that code into the uplink or kill the entire enemy team. Either will result in a win for them, either 1 point from a team wipe, or 2 if they manage to get a code into the uplink, which has a limited range. So that's always why you'll see bulk players defending the objective, making sure no Marsoc gets near it, because no matter what happens then, if they get that code in, they've lost.
Kageru's position here is going to be the dangerous one. It's going to come about who's going to spot whom first. Evo and Kageru potentially. They're inside of each other. Oh!
Kageru turning first, but that's how it comes down to. Nep getting a pick on the GT. Pretty pushed out defense, but not uncommon as well from Ronin here. Trying to get off in these little hills, either ambush those players that come from the southwest or get those picks on the players rotating across the lake. Trying to get to the southwest can be very powerful, and Black and Nep being in full control of that angle will allow their team to be pretty confident in which directions the rest of Fury could be coming, either the direct in or from the tunnels or parking structure. Kind of the same thing, but
this is a good level of pushed out defense. They haven't over pushed. They're not trying to, over flank and get picked. They've pushed out and then they've sat on hills. You got Black and Nep side of the hills looking across. Nep being back up for Black, and then out the other side you got player 2 watching the garage exit, and Kageru watching the north approach. It is well locked down. There is ability to adjust if you do lose a player before that. The attackers on objective. I think the pivotal thing here is going to be whether Bald-Headed can do some damage from the southeast to really force some rotations out of Kogero and Pawn.
We'll have to see here. I think either side could be the good hammer, or the, you know, it just really depends on what they choose to do here. I think either having Bald-Headed be the distraction, as you kind of described, or kind of being that clinch that comes in, runs in and maybe kills somebody and gets the cap, you know. So it's a tough one. These both of these kind of attack teams, and Bald-Headed and Solar Bob and AO, taking it slow, using all that time that's available to them, and making sure that nobody gets taken out from a flank here. The rest of the defense pretty locked in at this point, not really doing any more rotations. But you never know.
I don't think they're going to be ready for Black's position here. The guys coming through the bunker. And I also don't think Bald-Headed is going to be ready for Player 2's position. Hard to spot out, and it'll be at a time when Bald-Headed may be more focused on the tower, more focused on the south direction, or even on Pawn's location.
Definitely a lot to think about, a lot to check. Only 3 members up. Some utility being thrown. I did hear, I didn't quite see where it was. Solar Bob coming up from the lake. Kind of a tough spot to be in. There's a lot to clear from there, and being on the low ground, you kind of get the short end of the stick a lot of the time. But
I quite like Solar Bob's approach. He can go very low. Obviously, he has to deal with Kogero. There's Black doing his damage from his side. He's not seeing Kogero, and that's the end of Solar Bob. I was going to say, I do quite like Solar Bob's approach, assuming that there is no defender out to the north of it, because there are some little hills you can hide behind and work your way forward, and you can get quite close to those concrete blocks. Are they Hescos? Are they called Hescos?
Where, I'm not sure. Let's see.
These concrete blocky
things. Yeah.
Those are Hescos, yep. Wow, Bald-Head has made it a lot further forward than I thought he would. Player 2 just dropping back slightly.
Yeah, player 2 though. Look at that snap fire from him, right on top. Wow. That wow. He's pretty pleased with himself there. A good flick, for sure. Let's watch that one back.
Was it 5-man up defense? I believe it was.
Yes, 5-man defense. Ronin putting another point on the board. Definitely showing their prowess on a map like Snow Peak.
With a 5-man up defense, it's shown that potentially the attack's not working in pairs or as a team as well as they should be. There's no refrags occurring, especially when you're getting kills from the same player. More than one kill from the same player. People are pushing through a line, which means that they've lost track of where that defender is, or not figured out where that defender was to get that kill initially. Maybe a little bit too much separation there.
It's a tough one. Some of those little ambush spots that Ronin was running can be difficult to deal with, especially when you're down members. You can't have supporting players watching alternate lines for you as you make that approach and potentially expose yourself to make that peak. For example, Bald-Headed not really able to check his corner there as he's watching towards the shack. Yeah, either one could have been deadly for him. Yeah.
I feel like Bald-Headed potentially had an option to skirt. I quite like the skirt south along the the backside of that, and then come back in from the southwest onto objective. He would have had a lot to deal with. He would have had was it Black and Nep were out that way, so yeah, it was a massive ask.
We should see some conflict between
Whoa,
Evolution.
Look at this defense.
They're in for blood here. I don't know if Ronin will be expecting this. AO goes down, but Evolution is close. I'm not sure they're going to be ready for it. We even have a situation brewing in the south as well. Should be conflict. Who is that? Maybe
Evo is going quiet.
Oh, Bald-Headed.
Nice.
Trading with Black, but Black will get revived. GT coming around to try and stop it. AO going down, and Evolution is so close. He's so close. But let's stick back here with GT as he comes around the corner here, getting a little aggressive here. Nice headshot onto Pawn. Nep though close by, and Black as well. GT's gonna have to play this real smart.
Not sure who to watch here.
Evolution getting into a gunfight. Able to trade with player 2. Nep taking GT out though at the same time, and this defense down to 1. Down to 1.
I'm just what is Solobob thinking right now? He doesn't know what the kill count is at all. He's on objective like, oh man. Oh no. I was hoping to not have to play at all this round. He was hoping that the flank took him all out and he could just chill out on objective and just, you know.
You can always be optimistic, James. You can be optimistic. Hey, my team must have just murdered them. There's probably like 1 left. I'm gonna clutch this and look really cool on cast. And then we very well can see that.
And you're like, oh, it wasn't 1 left. And then you get another kill and it's like, oh, it wasn't 2 left. Oh no. We've seen some good clutch defense on this objective as well, against some 4v1, 3v1 type defenses. So if they don't identify Solobob's position, it could happen. Ronin have been encircling the objective pretty well though, so I expect them to be pretty well timed. And if Solobob does take one of them out, they will capitalize on that.
What I want to see is Solar Bob instead playing a little bit risky, going out on a flank, or not a big flank, but just trying to stop and disrupt their attacks.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, if you're able to just get a kill, rotate back to objective, make sure no one's capping it, maybe take out another player coming in from the flank expecting an opening, and just keep bouncing around. You can, instead of being a 1v3, it can be a 1v1, followed by more 1v1s. And that's what you need.
Especially with the current scoreline, like risking the cap slightly. If you lose by getting killed, you've lost the map. If you lose by getting capped on, you've lost the map. Yes, it's better to not get a 5-1, but you're not risking the map by doing something weirdly. Risking the map more, I mean. And there's Kogeru, Solobob rotating right in front of the objective and getting taken out by the good encirclement by Ronin.
Ronin will take map 1. A commanding scoreline 4-1 against Fury, but again, this was not Fury's pick. I'm sure that we'll be heading on over to somewhere that Fury is going to feel in their element, going to challenge Ronin, and maybe blunt that momentum that they're feeling right now.
Maybe Bizarre. As I hear the music, that might be a good guess.
That's cheating.
It's a great guess. It's a great
guess. It was cheating. It was during the loading screen, James. You can't count that.
I didn't see the loading
believe screen. You. But nonetheless, we will be rolling right on over to Bizarre. Medium range map, but there's a lot of kind of defensive spots. There's a lot of kind of encapsulation of objectives where you get into these close-on gunfights with the opposing team. You hear them on the other side of the wall, and it's super, super tense. And speaking of tense, we got actually the new objective. I wonder how long we're going to be calling them new objectives, but anyways.
It's going to be new forever for me, probably.
Yeah, we got the one in the southeast, in the courtyard. I really personally love this objective. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that there's good opportunities for the attackers to kind of pick the defenders off, and maybe even get a cap with some smart use of utility and distraction. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a race to lose or something else like that on the map, like or a objective like Kiat, where sometimes just dying is better than risking that cap, playing more aggressive, for example, and just everybody just going out there with the expectation of, hey, we've kind of got to just get this out of the way.
Yeah, this is one where you don't want to let them get too close on that north side though, because you can get smoke caps, you can get We've seen flash caps on this. Literally someone flashing and capping within the flash time.
Seems to be a fad nowadays.
Ooh, this spawn on attack, I haven't seen this spawn too much on attack in a league match, and I'm keen to see the approach. It's reduced the size of the map significantly with them all in the south. For all of those you can see, they've got the southwest spawn on attack.
Immediate
Potentially should be
cross.
identified. Did Kogeru
Oh.
see it?
I don't think he did. But he will catch the rest of these peaks if they continue to do that cross. He definitely should have seen that rotation from Solar Bob. Shots fired from Kogeru. His spot will be exposed there, and Fury will be aware of it. It's a very powerful position, very, very common and hard to counter. But Black here, kind of on his own little defensive flank, could do a lot of damage.
GT saw him. I think GT saw him.
I think so
pulled his
too.
grenade short. He pulled his grenade short. But Black has rotated into a position GT may not be ready for.
Flash coming out on an expected position. GT coming around here. Black, though, not seeing him. I think maybe he got flashed. But Black able to get that pickup on a GT as he rushes through the door. An excellent shot from Black.
I like the approach Board-Headed is doing now. This is my preferred approach, to get the control of the east side of the objective before moving in, whilst your south is doing work. Would have liked to see one with Board-Headed, because I feel he's going to get too surprised potentially by Nep to deal with it. But be good to see his approach come in before Evo and Solar push too much further. And he doesn't have an approach anymore. It's gone? It's
Yeah,
over.
that defense was not expected. Bald-headed there, just pulling out some kind of utility instead. But that's how it comes down. But now we got kind of like a standoff between Evolution and Pawn. Evolution will come out ahead here. He's very, very close to objective, and I'm sure that we're going to see some panic from Ronin. You see Kogeru running in, trying to get back. Black able to pick up Solar Bob, and he's down and out for the count. But Evolution, very, very close to objective here. In a great position to get some picks. Player 2 going down. And I don't know, though, if he's going to be ready for this flank coming from the likes of Black.
Unfortunate by Evo there. I think potentially player 2 only being down would have resulted in some call-outs, as Evo did push up those stairs. If he'd gotten a clean kill, it may have gone a little bit more in his favor.
An unfortunate push there. It's not much you can do. Last man up. You gotta make do with what you got, and when a player does go down and their body falls out of view, very common occurrence when you're shooting into the windows of Bazaar. There's plenty of cover behind those walls, and those players, while down, can use the radio. They just have to bend down, grab the radio, and give that information to their team. And you got to be aware of that. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Do your best. Maybe do some rotations if you can, but Evo was pretty locked in tight there. It would have been tough to do that, any kind of rotation and kind of clear his way in through another approach. But
Would have liked to see some smokes or something from him, if he did have any. I don't know what he used earlier on, but would have been a good opportunity to create a bit of confusion, panic, as you said. It's unfortunate he didn't have a supporting player. If he did have a supporting player, that could have caused a lot more panic and capitalized on the rotations. Still 3 kills from Evo from that round, and 3 from Black. Evo doing work in the first round of the map yet again. Let's see whether he can continue to do that work and help his team come out on top on this map instead.
definitely not out yet. Let's see what Fury chooses.
Hopefully.
Yeah, just doing a little bit of planning. Always gotta try and use what time you have in the tent, get those plans ready. Maybe try something new. Get everyone aware of where everyone else is going. Get that teamwork going. There's MMR on the line for both of these teams. Not gonna want to let that slip away. Gotta play it to your best and try and win it. And we're gonna just see the same thing over again here. both teams having the same spawns. Defenders spawning behind the objective, and the attackers just on the southwest street. So we'll see what comes of it.
Bold and Evo looking to get across the north street. Sorry, the middle street to the north. No one on Ronin has crossed north, so if they do identify that they're pushing through the center, they could lock them down quite well. This movement by Evo could work really well or really poorly.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do some work here, as there's quite an opening for objective. But Evo, like you said, it's
left again. He's got a tendency to not
well,
turn left.
He will
there
now.
He is.
Comes around the corner, gets one, but Black able to get that refrag. The power of having multiple teammates all watching the direction. Player able to get GT as well, and oof, this is going to be a tough one.
Black actually confirming his teammate there. Unfortunately, I think it was only going to be a down, but Black put a couple of bullets into the back of his teammate's head just to make sure that he didn't get back up. AO doing damage onto Black there.
Good defensive peek from him. Player 2 and Kugaro kind of far off in a way. Player 2 looting the body here. Grabbing
Kugaro's
some...
very separated. He's worried about that player in the position he was in the previous round. He's got a 2x scope. He's trying to check out that long location behind that broken wall, which we talked about last round. Hopefully, player 2 slows up a little bit, waits for that combined attack.
That's something we've seen pretty common from Ronin. Very, very big on those timed attacks, and honestly, he's got a lot to clear here. Probably not sure what was exactly going on in this, honestly, striking engagement. You never know where the rest of Fury could be. They've been running some unconventional strategies and defenses, and it pays to be cautious sometimes.
Definitely. Baldhead is quite separated from the objective here. A little bit worrisome if they do get a pick on objective. There could be a cap coming out before he can crash, which would be devastating for Fury.
Very well could be. Some utility coming out. I think that Ronin definitely thinks that the enemy could be in that southeast. Haven't seen any shots, haven't seen any players on the broken walls, so maybe they would be in the southeast here. Be using that frag, they can feel just a little bit more safe to have Kogero continue pushing that way. And player 2 will continue his approach, trying to go through the north shops, just north of the objective.
Only Bald-headed just looked along the street.
Yeah, Bald-headed gonna have to start worrying as the time comes down.
Solar Bob him though, taking out player 2, all up to Kogero in the south. The defense just needs to stick tight here and work as a team. Get that refrag when Kogero makes his move.
Wonder what the kill count's like. Probably fairly spotty.
It'll be off definitely because Evo traded. AO, that was a clean kill. Don't know how they lost the Ronin player on the... Oh, there was a pushed out player. Not sure if that Fury South pushed out player would have got a call out either. So definitely off by 1, maybe 2. So defense thinks there's at least 2 remaining on attack, maybe 3.
Can feel the tension. Kugaro coming around the corner here. Oh, just narrowly. Solar Bob narrowly misses Kugaro's push through this alley, and now Kugaro taking shots and just not able to make it, throwing some utility. He is flashed, throws his smoke there to try and slow Solar Bob's advance as he pushes around the corner, gets into a defensive position, continues to fall back here as Solar Bob continues to aggress.
On the flank. I thought Baldhead was going to go along the middle street, but he has gone onto objective instead. This rotation by Kogero has been very rapid, and now he's going quiet, so they might not be ready for it.
Yeah, done a little bit of a reset there. That smoke going away prematurely should be a tell for Kugaro that Solar Bob is nearby. The footsteps definitely going to be in his favor there, but Solar Bob doing a very good job, able to get that pick up there.
Defensive
Good
machine
work from
taking
Fury.
out the last 2 players. I can see why they put him closest to objective.
Definitely some good work from Fury there. Their pushed out defense, I think, really threw Ronin through a loop on that one, and allowed them to just kind of dictate how the match was going to be played that round. Worked very well in their favor.
Talking about working in their favor, an attack on Kiot in Fury's favor
Oh
potentially.
man, this is
It's a
crazy
more
objective.
traditional objective. It's one which they'll be more prepared for, because it has been around for a very long time, and it may play into Fury's more frantic, furious attacking style.
You're done. You're so done.
I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's been a good run. I'm leaving it to Mono now.
Oh boy. Okay, maybe I forgive you then.
What type of attack do you reckon is going to come out here? We're going to see a Quokka-esque straight in, or we're going to see that, 2-3 wide hook in from the north?
I think we're going to see a pretty aggressive push from Fury. I don't necessarily think we're going to see the single-minded fervorous attempt for that cap necessarily from Fury, but more of a let's all push in, let's use that aggression, let's destroy the enemy team. But you never know. Fury has some good cappers, and this is where you want them.
I'll tell you after the end of the round.
We'll see what happens here. This is definitely one of those butt clencher kind of objectives, that's for sure.
Definitely. Doesn't look like they're going to... Oh, they might spot Solar on the attempt to cross. He's elected to not go the more southern route.
Some, I assume, smoke. Some shots.
Coming out.
GT, though, throwing down some suppressive fire for the crouch move across the street. You definitely feel confident there. Just a little early on the replay. Oh, well. Anyway, Evolution, though, just looking for a pick.
Great frag onto objective. Potentially thinking that the defense might have been panic rotating. But
I like this move from GT. Firing over, putting his gun above, getting them to just fire at him while he's in cover. Gets them to expose all their positions. Solar Bob able to get a nice pickup. Sounds like single fire onto Nep and Kugaro potentially going to get flanked here from Evolution if he can spot him, if he stands up just a little bit too much there. And he does. Evolution able to get that pickup, and he's in. He is in the objective. He is up top. He's got his tablet out. He's putting in the code. He is in a pretty darn good defensive location. I'm pretty sure no one's going to be able to spot him here. The coat is going in, and Fury, this is what they were looking for. Player 2 coming around the corner, though. Evolution needs to get this coat in, and they do. Player 2 not able to get it in. Evolution running rampant, feeling pretty good about himself here, and Fury going up 2 points. This is what you fear if you're Ronin.
Definitely, and you can see it's an objective which Fury are much more comfortable with. Been around for a long time. Fury haven't had as much time lately to do strategies that I've seen, and maybe that came out a little bit on Snowpeak and on that new objective. But yeah, great attack. Their defensively, they tried to push a player way out, Black in the southwest. So that cap was definitely on the cards. Wow, Fury will be liking that. I'm liking that. It could mean that we go to a map 3 decider if Fury can hold the next round or a couple of rounds after that.
They got wiggle room, that's for sure.
They got some wiggle room. We have seen some big comebacks on this map. You and I have been part of some big comebacks on this map, so it is definitely possible. But I feel like at the moment, obviously, it is playing in Fury's favor.
Fury, yeah, definitely has a bit of a momentum on their side. I do want to just take a step back, though, and I just want to really commend GT's play there. I think what he did was pivotal. He was just getting their attention. He's using the M249. He was just spraying. He wasn't going for the kills. He wasn't even exposing himself. He was just putting his gun up over the wall, and firing. And every Ronin took the bait for that one, giving Evolution the information he needed and also the distraction he needed to get that quick kill on Kugaro and run into the objective. So
It's the move he made after that as well, GT. He then rotated from that location into a position where he was the one who pushed through for player 2 to get distracted by. At the same time, Evo went in onto objective. So GT, yeah, as you say, pivotal play by GT.
Kugaro coming around the corner here, but Evolution's kind of sneaky spot on the kind of well in the center, able to net him a kill. Good pickup from him.
Fury definitely wanted there.
Yeah, Fury, I think this is what they needed to get back in the game. Confrontation brewing, though, on the east. Bald-headed going aggressive. Pawn and Nep not really aware of this push, but Nep quick reactions will save them from a 2-kill from the likes of Bald-headed.
Looked like Bald-headed had his hand off his gun, able to bring it up in time to get the 1 kill, but mustn't have had the audio cue, hearing them coming.
I'll tell you what, that tank is loud, and you saw it.
Ah, true.
Yeah, we saw it as well, as the other player wasn't aware of it either. I think it was just entirely based on vision. Nep and Bald-headed seeing one another.
The eastern defense is a little bit weak right now. Evo potentially can see the approach in from the east. However, if he doesn't spot it, and with the north going down, this is weakened significantly. GT needs to rotate back to objective now, though. We've got Black and Pawn making their final approach.
Pawn running in. Black is already in the objective room. Evolution catches him going in. He's got to get up. He's got to get prone. He gets prone, but he's running in. Quick reload from him coming around the corner.
Oh, wow.
And a nice save from the likes of GT and Evolution working together there to stop the cap as the code was going in.
Evo would have been panic shouting if he saw him going in there. I feel like, as you say, I feel like he did see him going too, because GT was crashing hard. Wow, Black had the chance there. Maybe the nerves get into a little bit, taking a few seconds too long on that cap. But Fury take the map. We go to a map 3 decider. I know what map I'm going to guess this time. What map are you guessing?
I don't know. What do you think?
Quarantine, 100%. It's not quarantine.
100%?
Not quarantine. I don't know. I'll do some. No, I'm not going to say that because then I'll get held to it. I think it's going to be quarantine.
You should be held to your promises, James.
No, it'll be something like I'll eat a hat or something. Then I'll have to eat a hat, and I don't want to do that.
I really kind of want to see that.
No, never. please be quarantined.
So I think he kind of agreed to eating a hat if it wasn't quarantine,
no, hell no. Quarantine, or I will let Mono come up with strategies for a map.
I don't want that.
Well, that's what you're getting, so you better hope it's quarantine too.
I feel like you turned this one around on me there.
Yeah, I did.
Oh man. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for a quarantine, but a lot of strategizing going on in the tent here. Ronin reeling from that Fury win there, and it looks like it's quarantine.
Yes. Oh.
This is a pretty fun one to watch. So many objectives, you never know how it's going to go. And Fury gonna have to do some work here. This one's a tough one with if you don't have a lot of practice on it. But you never know. It does have similarities to the old quarantine. There is objectives that are fairly similar, crosses that are about the same. So I do have confidence.
This map has been around. This version of quarantine has been around a bit longer than Snowpeak has been back, at least, though Snowpeak was the old version still, and certainly longer than that new objective on Bazaar. So, yep, has been around a while. They should be prepared-ish for it, at least. However, there are some new objectives on this map as well, which can be quite tricky, and there are a lot of approaches on attack. Your defense really needs to be well sorted, otherwise you can get easily capped on, especially on an objective like this first objective. Not sure if you're previewing that yet, but I'm sure people will understand as soon as they do see it.
What do we got, James? Why don't you spill the beans a little early
I'll
here?
spill the beans. I love spilling the beans. I've already spilled the beans what the map was. So the objective we have right now is the hospital objective. We refer to it. Some people, I think, call it parking garage. I've heard it called recently.
Parking garage.
I know.
What?
I know. It's for me. It's hospital. Maybe parking garage is underneath the mall. Oh, this is the problem with this map. Because the map has changed. There's like callouts like burning, where there's no
It's
fire
never
anymore.
changing, James. Never. It's burning.
It's never changed. Always twins. There are no twin buildings anymore.
Yeah.
But this is hospital for me. You can't convince me of anything else. There is an ambulance out the front.
Yeah. I'm totally on board with
It's
you.
potentially a terrible hospital. There's not really any rooms inside. These weird crates and stuff. But it's going to be a hospital.
It's being in construction, James. There's already been some damage already, but we work with what we got in, what is this, Utah?
No, as we've established, this map actually is, I believe it's somewhere quite north. So it says Utah, but that's some false intel. Because of the direction of the sun, it's actually much further north than that. So we're treating it as being some form of training facility for an invasion on American soil. It's, as you can see, there's a lot of staged elements to it as well. Locations where there's like light poles going through other objects and stuff, and it shows that it's been constructed as a training facility. Definitely.
Some nice long range shot from Nep. Mark 17 netting him a kill there. Some shots being thrown down from player 2. On to Burning, not able to pick up AO, but putting him on notice there. And
there's AO, and his notice is over. He has been terminated.
This Fury defense down to 3, gonna be tough as Ronin has made it all the way south, definitely in control of the southeast here. GT is gonna have to take out a lot of players, man. He's gonna have to do a lot of work.
A lot of work, and there's a whole ridge line you have to watch from there. Southeast control is something I very much prefer for attacking this objective. If you do get that southeast overwatch control, especially if you have someone who can look through those windows with a longer scope, trying to see what Kogiru's got. 2 times, it's pretty hard to see through, but you can. 4 times on Nep, he can definitely see through that onto the stairwell. Evo and Baldheaded both taking out 1 apiece, which does weaken the western northern attack, so they can focus on that southeast a lot more. Let's see whether Baldheaded starts to make his way back towards objective.
Kugaru gets eyes on the Evo, and GT and Evo go down at the same time.
Baldheaded needs to be running. He is running. He has identified it. He will be panicking right now.
That's not what you want to see. Man, what a swing.
Right frag to clear the objective. A little bit long for a clearance, but does help. Is he going to get there in time, though? Black's going to go inside.
Doing the right move here. We're probably going to see a cap from him.
Inside cap. We should see a cap from Black.
Not good, but unless Nep or Gugaru gets a kill on Baldhead, you can see immediately coming around the backside here, wounding him, but not going for the kill. Baldheaded distracted by this as Black continues to put the code in here. Excellent defensive fire from Nep, and Ronin will go up 2 points on map 3.
This time, there was enough time for Black to cap. Ronin doing the perfect thing, taking the shots, but managing to only wound, which is hard to do.
And
if they've done it on purpose,
well.
obviously. We're going to assume they've done it on purpose and shot him in the kneecap just to slow him down so he can't take Black out. Great offensive work. Fury will be... No, I'm not going to say it. Fury will be upset about that.
So you said it. You basically said it, James. You basically said it. You basically said it.
They'll be furious.
Oh, man. Evo, if you need to slap James after this, I give you my permission and my blessing.
Yeah, you got to get to me first. That is the good thing about the borders being pretty locked down at the moment.
Oh, man. let's talk about that cap though. You know, that distracting fire got his attention, and I tell you what, I think that with how Black was capping there, trying to get that code in, maybe a tough one, and I think that he had a chance to actually stop that one. If he just kept running and went in there, immediately spotted him and snap fired him, he could have saved that cap. And granted, it would be very difficult to defend from that position, but I think it was possible. That teamwork that we saw from Ronin on that one, very commendable.
That timing. If the rest of the defense had stayed up a little bit longer, they both got picked within a second of each other. If it had stayed up a little bit longer, it might have bald-headed enough time to crash back. The movement by Black, though, was perfect. He didn't get distracted by the shorter line to the outside objective. He went inside instead and capped from the safer location inside, knowing that the defense was less likely to clear that first. Really good work.
Immediate fire from Evolution and AO on the south, trying to take out Pawn, who's sitting up on the roof of the hospital there, keeping his head down a little bit there, just doing a few peeks, but getting AO on a quick peek. An excellent shot from him. Evolution here gonna have to think twice about doing any kind of cross now.
Definitely, this is a very well locked down defense as opposed to the Fury much more pushed out approach. And at the moment, it's going to be hard to penetrate. If they do take out a couple of key players, I feel like player 2's position may be a little bit weak to an Eastern push. However, they've got to deal with Nep up in the dunes first as well. So, like to see a bit more encirclement. We are seeing that encirclement, however, it is not as well aligned with the rest of the attack. GT coming in now up in the northeastern corner of the map. He'll be making his way through. Hopefully the rest of the attack can do some damage. I was going to say just distract, but they actually are doing damage, forcing rotations.
Evolution, excellent rotation around the plane wing here to get that shot onto a player that is a little bit too much focused on the last engagement location. Bald-headed also sitting in burning second story, might be able to catch player 2 on a rotation if he gets just a little bit too zealous on that movement. And GT kind of coming around in a fortuitous angle here to grab player 2, gets that call out, gets the confirm, and now Ronin's
get shot
defense.
On the side by Nep. He has been shot on the side by Nep.
SBD too.
Interesting gun choice. We don't see SVDs too often. I'm liking it.
You're liking it. But this attack coming from the southwest. Doing well with the team kill on your side. A little bit of smoke. Throwing some confusion for Kugaro, I'm sure. Very unfortunate, but that's kind of the fog of war, as it were. When you can't see, but you see movement, sometimes you just gotta let a few rounds rip there, and sometimes that will be a team kill. But,
by losing that player, it does mean that Nep has to rotate back. Unfortunately for Fury, Solar Bob has just come off watching that line. He was watching it up until about 5 seconds before Nep.
That's Onward for you folks.
Yeah. Defensive locations, if they have a good kill count, which they will not on attack, are pretty common. One inside, one on ambulance for the last two-man defense. If you pick one, that will force rotations from the defender, and you should be able to get the other. It's just all about getting that first defender.
Yeah, losing that third player is brutal, as now these two players are islands unto themselves. There's no support from Nep to Kugaro or vice versa in most cases. Maybe Nep could get some cover fire from the window, but potentially exposing himself from a flank as well, going for that rotation. And
I feel like Bald-Headed has either heard or seen Kogero. He'd definitely be wary of that position.
Oh! Just narrowly missing Kugaro, trying to get that repick, but not quite able to get it there. But Bald-Headed continuing his approach.
Kugaro. Now he needs to go. Nep with the through the window shot. Great defense. Nep now does need to rotate, unfortunately for him. And Solar Bob hopefully will be ready for him.
Should just look for this pick now. Don't let Nep control the flow here. Solar Bob instead going for a bit of a rotation, knowing that Nep is now going to have to be bouncing from the interior to the exterior. And I think this is a good move from Solar Bob. He knows that NepNep is going to be looking for him, and NepNep has proven his precision. Oh, shots coming down, just catches Solar Bob as he moves over there, but Solar Bob able to pull away just in time. Now Solar Bob has time on his side. He has 1 minute and 35 seconds he can play with. He can come around the same way, around the post office there in the north, or he could go around the south, or maybe even potentially go for a flank if he goes quickly. But instead opts to go again on the north here, keeping NepNep constantly questioning where he could come
frag
from.
in his hand. We could see a last man frag.
That's what you want to see. That's
Of course,
I know.
what I want to see.
Of
I was
course,
hoping to
of
see more
course.
from Bald Headed. He's a renowned fragger. Have not seen as many out of him tonight as I was hoping for. NepNep, potentially the frag's a better option as well. He's going to have to try and do a close quarter snapshot with his 12 times, which is, I personally find very hard, but he may be a pro.
I'm pretty sure that Solar Bob was checking. He was looking to see what his if he was on single or full auto on his gun. It was a pretty fun little thing. Ooh, Solar Bob though. Oh, NepNep able to clutch it for Ronin, getting them another point on the board. Some celebratory gunfire in the air. Not recommended in real life, but very fun in Onward.
Great snapshot with the SVD
Oops.
12 times. Solar Bob had the drop on him, put a bullet into him, but NepNep, was it NepNep? I'm saying NepNep.
Yes.
Yeah, it must have been. He's on 6 kills. Wow, with no deaths. Doing some work. Oh, that snapshot. Beautiful.
Solar Bob just a little bit off on that fire there. A little bit of surprise to see NepNep come through the open, I think. But very nearly clutching it for his team there. Good teamwork as well.
My money on NepNep in that sort of encounter.
So can we consider that as you owe me money now?
Well, I just said I wouldn't have put my money on that.
Well, we can just take it as that you did say that.
I did say I would put money on it, and I did put money on it, and now I owe you money.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I like this. I mean, we were talking in hypotheticals that were already decided earlier, so I mean, I think it's only fair. No?
We'll talk
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Moving on, we got somewhat of a interesting objective here. Let's go fly on over there, meander, as it were. Take a look, see at what we got to play with.
It's an objective which has been around for a while. However, the approaches to it have changed.
It's so different now. I think
it's so different.
Yeah.
The location of the objective's been around for a while, but everything around it has changed massively. So it is, very much a different objective.
I think this spawn is interesting for Marsoc. They immediately get vision of the south.
The spawn, the spawn is so much better than the other spawn, which is unfortunate. I feel like they should be a bit more balanced. Getting across from Fury.
Yeah, Kugaro just narrowly missing those movements. Like on such long distance, you will see the effect of bullet travel and having to deal with players just narrowly dodging your bullets there as they run for dear life across the street. Always a fun proposition. Or a scary one, I guess, depending on where you stand in such an engagement there. But having those two players in the south, I think, is going to be pivotal. Bald-headed here, getting a little bit aggressive with AO in the tower. Let's jump on Bald-headed right now as he comes around the corner. A trade, and Kugaro only downs. Evolution.
Able to finish it off from there?
I think he
should
could.
be able to see the body.
It'd be risky, though.
It's a big peak, though. That's a risky peak.
But we know Evolution.
Oh, but he might get it as they go for the rest.
And he gets it at a double for Evolution. Beautiful pick there. Immediately pops into cover, knowing that hey man, he's a prime target now. But an excellent move for Fury and GT with a grenade kill.
Where did that grenade come from?
I had no idea,
from behind. Man. He's at the white car way up in the northwest.
Wait, GT GT, you're supposed to be defending.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Nip has given away his position with that utility usage.
Evolution's chasing him down.
Oh, wow, Nip. The timing on the cross. If Evo had held his line before, he would have got Nip on the cross.
But no, Evolution
Oh,
needs kills.
the objective is very, very open right now.
AO would
GT is
probably
making his way
catch
back.
movement into it, though, from the tower. Although
He's
he
going to
isn't
hear
watching it.
Nip. He will have heard Nip now, surely.
Now we got a tower fight on our hands.
Oh, and I missed Solar Bob's position. Okay, they do have the objective a bit more locked down than I thought.
If you're Nep, this is ooh,
Wow.
Nep getting the pick onto AO.
GT now needs to go and watch that cross to the objective over the street. Hopefully he knows where AO was and knows exactly where he's gone down. Evo coming from behind. GT hopefully needs to start to make a move a bit closer because the objective is very open. With Solar Bob going down, that's dangerous. Solar Bob will be making a call out. Player 2 on his body. Going for the finish off. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's a turnaround. That was a turnaround and a half.
My head's been whipped right round. Don't
Wow,
copyright me.
great pick across the map.
What?
North to south.
What is going on? I am so confused.
Fury had it. They just like overexposing a bit too much. They had a great start to the round, unfortunately. Now not going in their favor.
Follow Evolution here. He kind of has a timetable here, a movement going, from the motel.
Nip has hurt him, and a trade.
And Ronin, just like that, will take that one, winning this map 4-0, and confirming the series for Ronin.
Indeed, not what I expected on map 3. I thought map 3 might be a little bit closer than that. Fury did some great work. Evolution top fragging, doing really well. But Ronin, amazing work. Nip, 8 kills. Black with a cap on the last map. Their first map as well. They know their maps which they pick. They like to pick Snowpeak. They like to pick Quarantine. And you can tell that they've spent a lot of time on those maps.
Definitely good work coming from both of these teams. When they're in their element, man, both of them can be really, really scary. We saw Ronin just really comfortable with all of those approaches on Snow Peak. We saw Fury just ripping it up on Bazaar and really just showing Ronin, hey man, we know how to play Kiat, and we're going to make you pay. Beautiful cap that we saw from Evo there in the second story. And then on Quarantine here, Ronin showing their chops, showing that they've done their homework, they've done what they needed to do to know what to do, and they all work so well together as well. I just want to say that a cap on the hospital objective from Black would not have been possible without his team running interference, doing what they could, not going for the kill there, knowing that they had that cap in the bag if they are able to just defend Black. All they had to do was distract Bald-Headed just a little longer, and that's what we saw. So beautiful play from both of these teams. Love to see the rematch in the future, because I think this is a great matchup. Two different kind of styles going up against each other as well. Always fun to see. But I just want to commend the teams for such excellent play and giving us such a great game to watch on a Saturday here. Should be some good games tomorrow as well, I hope. A lot of games going down.
There's definitely one game we know about tomorrow.
Let's not talk about that one. But yes, there is venues.
It is cast on Venue, so it is one which we, whilst we do have an agenda to talk about, it is one which should be talked about. That is our team Mayhem going up against Kai. Should be a great match to watch.
Yeah, if you want to jump in on that gun, able to watch it on the normal VRML channels, as well as from the Quest. You can watch it in what's called venues. You get to jump in there and watch it with the rest of your spectators, kind of like in a virtual theater, if you will. It can be fun to watch it in such a format and talk about the plays in real time.
The other cast we have tomorrow is an EU cast. We have Beginners versus Dead Logic with Nightfire with an E and Sky Joker taking that on OML 1. Other than that, nothing else picked up yet, but there may be one or two more picked up depending on availability.
Definitely should be a fun one. Beginners, obviously, the Titans from EU, the top dog, as it were, on that side, and often across the pond as well. And Dead Logic been rising through the ranks this whole season, and we'll just have to see what happens when those two teams face off against each other, two Titans of the EU matchups. So it should be a great game as well.
Definitely be a good one. Dead Logic beating Boss Fight recently, and Boss Fight have been having a great season. And beating Kai. Looking through Dead Logic's record, they should be putting on a big fight for Beginners. Looking forward to that match indeed. Yeah,
it will be a fun one. This has been Ronin versus Fury, brought to you by Monorchid, myself, and JamesBowk, my co-caster. We'd like to thank the VR Master League for providing the format, to our team, the moderators we got, and the sponsors that continue to offer excellent prizes and give us excellent peripherals and other fun stuff to play with and represent. So definitely support those if you want some VR products. Some really cool stuff out there. Pro 2, VRWare, HyperX products. Get a good microphone and all that, headphones, all that good stuff. Anyways, I'll see you guys the next time. Have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you guys all later.